Oh,
Tell
no!
me.
No!
Did you give me the same bite from the same
No, I did not.
I don't know.
I've never felt so defeated. Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Jeremy Yoder. I'm here in Comfort, Texas, working on kind of a secret project. If you want to know more about it, go to whatarethécooking.com and you can get updates if you sign up. So it's something really, really cool. I would love to share more with you about, but we just can't because it's kind of under wraps. But today we are going to be doing something that we can share with you and something that people have been asking me about quite a bit lately. And one of those things that people ask me about is, what does the Woodwind Pro do compared to an offset smoker? Because I've made comments in the past that say the Woodwind Pro is as close to an offset smoker as you can get without actually owning one. So we're going to test it out. We're going to have a Woodwind Pro versus a 500-gallon mill scale, and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. Who knows, I might even blindfold myself and see if I can tell the difference. So to make this as fair a comparison as possible, I'm going to be cooking on the offset, and Carlos from Smoke and Vine is going to be cooking on the Woodwind Pro because he's probably cooked more briskets on the Woodwind Pro than anybody else. I think something like 70 briskets at this point. And I've done a few and they've been great and I've been very happy with them, but he has more experience. So to make this as successful as possible, we're going to put people with experience with each of these kinds of cookers head to head, and then we're going to find out really what the difference is, because we don't want user error to interfere with the difference in how they cook. And to season, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go salt and pepper, and then we're going to do a light dusting of this barbecue spice rub. So one of the things that's really common in Texas barbecue is to use a seasoned salt in addition to salt and 16 mesh black pepper. That's what we're going to do today. It's something that's pretty familiar to a lot of people, and so that's going to be our baseline for this cook. Okay, we have two 16-pound USDA prime briskets here. We got them at the HEB, so they're really close in size, very similar in terms of marbling, or at least as close as we could guarantee by going to the store. And so for this comparison, we want things to be as much apples to apples as possible. So we're going to use the same seasoning, we're going to be using chunks of the same wood, we're going to be using very similar briskets, and we're going to trim them up in a similar way, because what we want to find out is what is changing this one variable do to the end product of this cook. So we're going to be comparing a 500-gallon offset to a Camp Chef Woodwind Pro, completely different cookers, but we're going to see how similar the product is and whether it's worth it to invest 12 hours running a fire, or if you want to just kick back and let the Woodwind Pro do the work for you.
All right, it is now my time to trim and season my brisket. I'm gonna be doing exactly what Jeremy Yoder just did. However, I am not going to trim my brisket as well as he is, because he's probably trimmed, I don't know, 100x more briskets than I have. So let's get started.
4 hours later.
Okay, it's been about 4 hours since we first put this brisket on. So we started low at about 200, kind of went up to 225. We're rolling at 250 right now. So let's take a look at what this brisket is looking like, and then we're gonna take a comparison look at the brisket over on the Woodwind Pro. So this is 4 hours in. So we're starting to get good color here. The fat's of course not rendered yet, but increasing the temperature, trying to get higher temps and more airflow is gonna take care of that for us. But basically, we don't want to go nuclear hot. We want to be gentle in cooking because this is a long, slow process. And we want to do it right. All right, now the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro. 4 hours in, we've been rocking 225. We just bumped it up to 250, and the fat still kind of feels like rubber. It's not really rendering yet. We're starting to get good color, and we have the foundation for good bark. You can tell just by how this fat looks that it's going to bark up and get a lot darker, but it just needs more time and some higher temps in order to get it where it needs to be.
Many minutes later.
All right, guys, it's getting time to wrap the brisket, so the fat is getting to be kind of poked through. We have a nice dark color on the outside, and I'm gonna wrap my brisket that's on the 500-gallon pit in butcher paper with some smoked tallow that we rendered earlier on in the process. So this has kind of been sitting in the fridge for the last hour or so it's kind of semi-solid. And I'm gonna wrap this one in paper, but the brisket that Carlos is cooking over on the Camp Chef, he's gonna do the Goldie's method. So he's gonna cook unwrapped the entire time and then rest in foil and some tallow in there, because the goal is to try to make that Camp Chef Woodwind Pro cook the best brisket possible, and that method we think works a little bit better on the Woodwind Pro, whereas on the big offset smoker, I'm a fan of the paper wrap, so I think it really shines best when wrapped in paper. So two different methods, same seasoning, same basic process, but we're really gonna try to compare them as evenly as possible and both have them on their best footing so we have a great comparison.
Our Camp Chef Woodwind Pro brisket is done. This cooked the entire time unwrapped. The reason for that is I wanted to generate as much bark, crispy bark as possible. So now that it's wrapped, we're gonna do what's, I guess, widely known as the Goldie's method. We're gonna wrap it in foil, add a little bit of tallow, and then we're gonna let it rest until we're ready to slice. Let's go.
A few moments later.
Pretty okay with that fat render. Yeah, so still pretty juicy for the end cut. It still feels a little firm, like it could have rested longer. Obviously, we did a short rest on this, but I'm okay with it. Let's take a look at a slice of the flat here. So here, it still looks juicy. This fat's rendered okay. Could have done a better job, but learning a new pit, new wood, sort of stuff happens. But looking juicy, barky on the top. Now, here's where it gets real. Okay, El Trasho. See, already learning Spanish. So, this is what I wanted. I worked on rendering the fat on this fatty part of the brisket right here, but in there we have lots of rendered fat. All those veins of fat that run through there have now kind of become liquid, so it should be really juicy. Then on the other side, nice and barky, really dark. This is really what I'm after when I'm trying to cook a brisket. So I'll cut these into burnt ends and feed some spectators. I'm gonna set aside some for us. Let's take a look in terms of evaluation, so here we've rendered out the fat. Well, all that fat on top is now kind of a translucent yellow, which is what I'm really looking for. And then again, all the veins of fat in there are now juice. So this is a successful cook.
We're first going to start of this end piece right here. Let's take a look. Similar to that other's, pretty firm, but I don't know.
Looks like there's maybe just a little drying on this edge. Maybe got some radiant heat there. Yeah. The fat on the top is rendered really well, nice and yellow. It's not dried out, which is a win on any brisket flat.
Yeah.
I'll sample as we go.
A few slices.
How does that end look? There we go. What I want to see.
Let's see.
That looks pretty darn good, man.
Let's see what
pretty darn good.
Wow.
The fat's pretty well, actually for a pellet grill, extremely well rendered on the top. Liquefied the fat that's intramuscular right there. This decal in here is actually cooked down really, really well. A lot better than I thought it would be. The bark on the underside is maybe a little washed out from sitting in the foil to rest, but well seasoned. You definitely taste smoke flavor. It's maybe not quite as pronounced as what you get with the offset, but really very impressive. Brad is here. He's blindfolded. I'm going to give you 2 bites. What's up, Brad? Camera is this way. You can, hey, audience. There you go. I'm going to give you 2 bites. They're going to be the same bite from each one. Then you can evaluate them independently.
Okay.
Okay? So, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, blah, 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 blah. Here's your hand. Okay? So, for the audience out there, they know which one it's from. Okay?
That feels nice. Nicely rendered. Little burn end action.
Little burn end action.
Mm-hmm. That tastes good. Nice and smoky. Good render. Tender.
All right. And then we're going to do a corresponding bite from the other brisket. There you go.
Are we filming right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought this was just like one of our little games we play.
No. Yeah, yes, Brad, because we do this all the time just for fun.
Not the first time I've been blindfolded by a Yoder, you know.
Yeah, Brad, put on this blindfold and put this in your mouth.
This one feels nice and tender too.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. That's tough, man. Annoyingly tough. That second one was definitely fattier. Are you f***ing me right now? Sorry.
No, I'm not. This is the issue.
Ow.
So it's like lots of effort. Okay, I'm gonna get this thing rolling. I'm gonna add a wood chunk, and then I'm gonna add another wood chunk, and I'll do that for a little while, and then not worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
How close do you think it is? Well, first of all, do you think you can positively identify which one was which?
I mean, right off the bat, I thought the first one was the offset. It just had that classic flavor. The second one, though, I mean, it was equally as good, and I don't like the fact that I'm saying that. I mean, the second one was fattier, so I'm definitely leaning towards that one, mouth-wise, but I don't know, it's hard to tell with the blind test, because, you know, you get that it's hard to tell when you got the flavor from the first one. Yeah, I'm calling it a tie, dude. Like,
oh, no!
Did you give me the same bite from the same?
No, I did not. I've never felt so defeated.
I think the second one was more tender, so I would lean to say that was the offset. The first one seemed a bit smokier on the exterior, but it also seemed to have more bark. I don't know. I mean, was that on a Camp Chef?
It was on a can.
Did someone say Camp Chef?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
What did you think?
I think that I possibly have cooked the most briskets on a Camp Chef Woodwind Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And so to hear that it's that close, it's absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah, I gotta fire mine back up.
Here, let's
Get these flies.
I don't know why I'm expecting something weird, like everyone's just naked. Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah, isn't it
Like,
crazy?
when I first tasted the first bite, I knew that was like smoky, good flavor.
Yeah.
When I was expecting so much less from the second one, because the first bite I was like, "This is the offset."
Well, yeah.
But then I had the second bite, and I completely reevaluated, which is
That's the scary thing. It is frustratingly close how similar they are.
Mhm.
Now, I think that you definitely get like more, like you get a barkier bark on the offset, and you get more smoke flavor. But it's like, could you deceive somebody and tell them this is an offset and feed it to them? They'd be like, "Oh, okay."
yeah.
Yeah, I think you could, like for the first time.
Good job, man.
Thank you, Brad.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so we're not going to hold anybody else back from eating right now, so we're going to let them jump into this. Surprisingly close on these briskets. This is something that I've kind of known for a while and have been dreading talking about just because it hurts me deep down inside that you can get this close with a pellet grill. I know that there's some other companies on the market trying to, make attachments that kind of work the same way. I haven't found anything works quite the same way yet. But if you guys are wanting the convenience of a pellet grill, but to really dial up smoke flavor, the Woodwind Pro is legit, and I make precisely $0 for saying that. I just think it happens to be true, and I want to steer my viewers toward what's going to help them make the best barbecue possible. And if you're cooking on a pellet grill, I think right now this is the right answer. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you can like it and hit the subscribe button if you enjoy this kind of fun and informative barbecue content. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mad Scientist BBQ. I'll see you guys next time.
And Chuds BBQ on all the social media platforms.
ShopChuds.com.